Good day, Wildcats. Hi, this is Mr. Dennis, your friendly neighborhood testing coordinator, back with you again for another Performance Matters video. The objective of this video today is to help teachers, administrators, and as well as lead teachers to access the data that has been uploaded via the scanners. Okay, so that's really to find out where it is, how to access it, and so you can use that data, teachers to help with your SLOs, and everyone else to help with every other report or you wanted to accomplish, and that's great. All right, so let's get started. I'm going to have my screen taken over. So remember, what you want to do is to go to the staff portal on the Prince George County Public Schools website, staff portal. Once you get to this particular site, you are going to go to applications. All right. And then you are going to go down to Performance Matters, as I'm doing so, and click on link. Okay. Once you get there, remember, once again, if you get there and you've been there before, you should log in just as I have. If you have not, and it asks you to give your username and password, it is your Google information, your username and your password for your Google and your other Prince George County access. All right, once you're at your main page, we're going to have you go over to, I'm going to use my annotation too. I want you to go over to this all the way to the top left-hand side. Okay, I'm going to circle it. Let's see if it'll work. Yes, you're going to go to your BB card. Yeah, just like that right there. That's your BB card. I like that. That's your, that is your location for your assessments. Okay, so please click on that. Okay. All right, once you are there, you're in the baseball card area. Here is where you can access information. So now, as you can see, we have 2,300 some odd students. Now, mind you, teachers, you're not going to see that many students because Performance Matter should be connected to the students who you are connected with, and that should be whatever that student number population is, all your classes together. Administrators and lead teachers, you'll see what I see, which is everybody. Okay, so here you have all your students here, and on the left-hand side, these are where all of your assessments are, and there are many different ones. You have, we'll go to a couple today, but you have a wealth of information here. And mind you, I want you to keep in mind these particular assessments go as far back as 2008 for students. Okay, so we're talking the middle school and elementary career. You may see some of that information that's also here. Okay, so let's go forward. Let's say you want to, let's look up our SGO information. Click on where it says assessments, and a drop down menu will happen. So here are all of the assessments that are in folders via Performance Matters. So let's scroll down to, let's say, let's choose one. Let's say I'll do English 10. Click on English 10. Okay, and before you'll see two folders. Okay, I want to focus on the first folder as opposed to the second one for a reason I'll explain to you in a minute. So you see where it says your SLO, your RELA for 10th grade. You can click on that. All right, and as soon as you see that, you'll notice what pops up next to the names. Here are their assessments and the grades. All right. Now we could click on next where it says SRI here in that same folder under 10th grade, but I want to hold off here. Here's my reasons why. Because although you can click on it, which I'll do right now, and you'll have your present SRI 10th grade teachers, but I want to access it another way. I'm going to explain to you why. So let's come out of the English 10 folder and come out of assessments, and let's go to where it says Lexile. Okay, and the reason why Lexile here, this is where all of the SRIs are from 2007 to present. Okay, so let's do the present. So if we go all the way down, here's our SRI for our teachers, and as you see it, the fall of 2015 and 16. Okay, and so you click on that box, and there they are. Okay, and let's do something else too. Let's compare. So, let's go back to 2014 and 2015. We can also click on that one right next to it. All right. And so what we're doing is you're noticing that you're gaining this data, not just the scores, but also the data of from year to year, and you can kind of play around with this information to figure out what you want in terms of what you're trying to present. All right, so that's one part of this. So you can go through, you can do your Lexile. If you go below, you'll see the PARC information. I mean PSAT rather, PSAT scores. You'll see grades. So when teachers put their grades in, the grades from last year, the grades will be in for this year. You'll see that benchmark tests, and so all the assessments that are in PG County are pretty much here. But let's stick with what we have present. So I have before me the SLO for this year. I have the SRI for 10th grade. Remember, I'm doing 10th graders for the moment. And I have the SRI for last year's. That's everybody. Last year's everybody, not last year's 10th grade. That's 9th and 10th last year. Okay, so that's how you get the data. But the next piece that I think is very important is something called filters for this. So this is very important for those who see all the students, but this is important for information. So I want you to look first. So you see these color-coded things. Now, the color-coded, what I've been told to let everyone know, the color-coded, don't be caught up on the color code. Stay focused on the number, because these colors can change and will change periodically, and I explain why. Although there are some similar things here that's understandable, in terms of red maybe being a concern, or green or blue being, that student's proficient somewhere. But the focus are the numbers, not necessarily the colors. All right. So you'll notice in this document that there are a lot of names that are either missing, or people that's blank and gray haven't taken the test. Okay. That's what it means. That means there's no score for the test. And here's the reason why. For example, I'm looking at the whole school, but let's just say I just only want to look at 10th graders, not the whole school. You can do that by creating filters. So see this gray box right here? This gray box that I'm circling, just click on the box. Menu pop up, and these are the filters. So let's say I just want to, you can do gender, you can do ethnicity, you can do current grade. So let's do the current grade that I want to look for. Click on current grade, and what happens, you have the current grade, and it says all in yellow right next to it. Click on that all, then another box will pop up, and now you can select 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th. What do you want to see? So I only want to see 10th graders and no one else. Okay, I click OK, and now this gives me only the 10th graders that I'm looking at. Okay, let's say I only want to look at students who are in the red, and I'm just using it as a color. This is a point of reference for those students who are in the red, which probably there's a level of concern. What you can do is this. You have the ability to they're called swatches. So look in these areas. See the red, green, blue, and gray? If I click on these boxes, okay, I'm telling the system I don't want to see them anymore. So I'm clicking on them, and I'm now, as you can see, they're no longer filled. And I click on where it says apply swatches, and boom, all I'm seeing in this first row are all of those who are in red. Okay, and I can continue. I can play around with it. All those who are in green, I click on the green, undo the red. All those who are in green. Okay, what I was supposed to be doing? Maybe I did it wrong. Probably did. Okay, so all right, so this gives you the ability to have that view of whatever you're trying to accomplish. Okay. All right, so let's go again. So now you also have the ability. What I just showed you. There's an arrow. Let's go back here. There's these little arrows here right at the end. If you click on that, you have the ability now to to look at the document in a different way. If you want to sort them from A to C, you can click on that, and it sorts it from A to C. Okay, you have the ability to sort your information from in a certain order if that's what you're trying to accomplish. All right, so let me put these back. I'm gonna apply these swatches back again. Okay, and it's not giving me what I want. All right, so for the most part, I don't know why I'm doing that. All right, so the idea is to create your data based on the assessments that are available to you. And you're not going to look at this data, and you can kind of monitor it, see what you're trying to accomplish, either from year to year, either from, remember, this is our fall administration for SRIs, or the our pre-test. And so we're going to take in our SRIs and SLOs. We're doing this again at a benchmark. And you can, when you redo these tests again, now you can line up your assessments side to side and see if you made gains. So that's the idea. Or you can look at last year's data, and we can show where students were within the scheme of the 10th grade. All right. But please keep in mind that these are swatches that you have the ability to manipulate, and this is clearly your ability to look at your filters. All right. If I want to do male, female only, if I look at only the males in the school, the 10th grade males, I click on that 10th grade. Okay. Now see only the males that are 10th grade males in our school. Okay. And so that's pretty much one way of looking at your data. There are multiple other ways that I want to go in more detail with, but for now, I want to hold to our objective. And my goal was just to show you where the information is and how to manipulate it. One of the next videos will be a little more detail of looking at particular assessments and really going more detail, breaking them down, how to really look at them, and you can actually look at the assessments themselves, the scores, how well kids did, how well they didn't do. There's another place where I can show you where all that information is. But for now, this is how you access your data via the baseball card. Okay, our next video will be accessing data back from our main screen, but now we're going to be looking more intently at, in our next video, at the actual assessment itself and the scoring, how they did, the kind of questions that were asked, how they fared to those questions, so on and so forth. All right. So that concludes video 2. Please keep in mind, remember, we're going to have our staff development for some of these very same things. But here's a way in which you can kind of be ahead of the curve of the PD, but also a place in which you can now refer back to if you need to. All right. I hope this has helped you. Please let me know if these videos do help, or don't. That's fine with me, but I do appreciate it. All right. See you at our next video. Thanks.